So people gather around. We're going to have a very brief presentation of the state of the art of the Plan B network with Rogzy. Then we can answer all your questions about our private keys, like private habits, everything. So gather around, get your headset, because otherwise we will be too loud. Come in, people, we're giving away private keys.
Should have kept that. It took too long to explain.
So, this is a private key, so if you come closer and you listen to us, you may actually get it. Okay, so last year in October, I go. Sorry, I go. Last year, October 2024, we were in Lugano. You know the city because of the initiative Plan B, Lugano Plan B, is the idea to put Lugano, Switzerland, Italian Switzerland, on the map of the Bitcoin hotspots. But from there, me and Rogzy, that will later tell you more about him and his work, decided to launch the Plan B network, which is an initiative to connect together all the relevant Bitcoin hotspots in the world and to integrate them in an experience focused on Bitcoin education. The idea is that Bitcoin education was a little bit too much decentralized, and we lost centralization in order to make it more efficient. Jokes aside, everybody was reinventing the wheel by doing Bitcoin 101 every time, all the time. So the idea was, let's take what it works, let's take the best practices, let's take the best tools, and let's put them in the network in order to help everybody. We will show you mostly two things. One thing would be the new website, which should be a platform for everybody to use in the Bitcoin education world. We are here at the beautiful AmityAge stage because AmityAge's Bitcoin Academy in Rotan is one of the nodes of the Plan B network. We decided to border the best communities in the world, and Rotan is certainly one of the most incredible. And we will show you the website that, in our view and in our hopes, will be the common language to structure well-designed Bitcoin education experiences, ranging from initial orange peeling up to specialized core Lightning plugin education. So we go from the very first to the very last mile. Rogzy will show you the platform and the website, and then we will show you a little bit about our first proof of work during this year. That was basically the Plan B Beat School in Lugano that had a lot of cool speakers and cool lectures still running. So first, I leave the mic to Rogzy, the creator of the Cool Bitcoin, not bad, and the co-founder of Plan B Network and product manager of the platform.
Hello everyone. So like Giacomo mentioned, the idea of Plan B Network is basically to become a Bitcoin university for anyone to use. Everything is 100% open source, code and data into our repo. And the goal is really to gather all the best educational content within the Bitcoin ecosystem, make it more organized and translate it in every single languages. So basically, the platform already has more than 16 courses, ranging from really beginners to developers. We have courses on RGB, SDK, cryptography of traditional cryptography, but also how Bitcoin works, mining, economics. And most courses are completely free and open source. And most of them have been translated in every languages. We've recently added the Japanese, if internet may work. But basically, if it does work at some point. All right. Every course is around 10 to 40 hours of content. Every course has video translated in every languages, image and text to go over. And you need an account for that, so it's really open education for the masses. And to bootstrap a new languages, it takes us like a week to translate more than 300 hours of content in new local language. So I'm going to switch back to Japanese because I don't know if there's a lot of Japanese people here. But the idea is that new courses are being added, and any teachers can add the new courses. So in GitHub, we've imagine what would the future of education in Bitcoin would look like. It looks like more than 100 courses ranging from economics to mining to advanced courses. So if you're an educator and you want to help building that, you can basically like build your own courses, add it to the website, add it to the repo, we translate it in every languages, and it's accessible for all. In addition to courses, we have more than 80 tutorials on many topics. Basically, every single company or most of the company in the industry can have their own tutorials. So if you're eager to learn, for example, but you don't know which one to take, and you just want to run the bits, for example, nodes, the tutorials to go in depth on every aspect of project if internet payload is there. So the idea is really to gather all the best resources from tutorial courses, but also educational content. So we have now basically a database of every single past conference within the world. So if you're curious what was the conference happening in 2021, and you want to have every single replay of every conference, we've built that. So now you get just like select which course, like which topic of any conference you want, and you'll have it again if internet works. So the idea of Planby Network is really to be like one big repository of all the data, well created with a nice interface for students to go into it. We've also created what we call the Bitcoin Educational Toolkit, which is data packages for educators to use and deploy locally. So the idea is that if you are from Finland and you want to bootstrap your economy, your Bitcoin network, you're not going to recreate 80 courses. You're just going to run our software. It's going to translate everything. You're going to correct it. And then you're going to basically take pre-packaged educational content to teach locally. So if you want a collection of all the inflation bill of the world history, for example, we have it for you. So you can just like use them for your presentation. If you just want all the image of Bitcoin history, we have it for you curated. So basically our goal is to lower the barrier to education to a point where if you need to bootstrap a new hub, a new courses, a new country, it's going to take like a couple of minutes. And also because of the network, we want apps to create courses, we want apps to do formation, we want apps to do workshops. And to navigate that, we've built basically an event section, if it may load. I guess it didn't load. And we now have like, I've refreshed, my bad, shouldn't have. The idea here is that any communities can add their own events and organize workshop or even seminars. And using the platform, people can register, people can pay, and it can spotlight what is happening right now. Right now we have 2 conferences at the same time in the world. One is a developer courses bootcamp we are sponsoring in Africa, and that's going to be available through the platform. So right now in Africa, there is a Lightning bootcamp. It's being recorded and live streamed through the platform. And then we're going to edit all the video, create a course, and add a new course for Lightning for emerging markets through the platform. And that's exactly what we want to keep building. Perhaps create courses, we get the data, and we push it on the platform for other people to use. And at the same time, we have the map. So if you wonder like what's happening, I don't know, in Lugano, let's say, soon, or in Neuchâtel, which is sorry, I had too much stuff. Next, coming up next in Lugano, there is a lecture of President Page, Steven, and the Lugano Forum. If you want to know what's happening in Prospera, no, Prospera is there. Prospera didn't put data yet. But basically, so if Prospera had like a seminar, it will just show the map, and so people could register. Yeah, AmityAge is in Lugano. So the idea is really to be like a platform for communities and educators to use. So don't reinvent the wheel, just use our data, use our infrastructures, it's free and open source, and you can join the network like AmityAge did. Right now we have 12 hubs around the world, and as a proof of concept, what we've developed with Giacomo is the Planby score, which I would like Giacomo to talk a bit more about.
Thank you, Rogzy. So, if you just open the course. So, we will try to integrate courses from all around the world made by all the relevant Bitcoin teachers. So the approach is a federative approach. So we're not going to organize everything ourselves. We're going to put together into the same network, hopefully using the best resources and the best tool, everything which has been organized by already established teachers. But in order to show how it works, and also because we needed it, we also organized our own internal Plan B school. We are going to run every year 2 internal Plan B schools. One will be the B school, which is basically targeted at business people. So future people going to work in Bitcoin as accountant, marketer, finance guy, non-technical roles. And then a Plan B tech school for developers, cryptographers, and technical roles. We will do every spring and summer the B school, and every fall and winter the dev school. The first one started in May, and we had the first one started in May, and we had a lot of students from all around the world. There were students from Dubai, from Japan, from Thailand, from Georgia, from Switzerland, of course, from Italy, from 40 from El Salvador, a few from other parts of Latin America. And we had teachers from all around the world, and especially we tried out this idea of having the same course running from different Plan B nodes. So how did it work? Once the lecture is in Lugano, so we have Elizabeth Stark or Paolo Arduino teaching from Lugano. There is a local audience from Lugano, and then we are connected through the platform with people gathering physically in Cubo Plus node in San Salvador, or gathering physically in Bangkok for the building on Bitcoin Bob Space node. For example, Obi was a guest lecturer, and Obi was teaching from Bangkok, and everybody was gathering in either San Salvador or Lugano, of course, time zone permitting, in order to watch together and to share the experience together, in order to ask questions facilitated by the local team. Elizabeth Starr made the lecture from Lugano. Rockstar Dev will make the lecture from Belgrade in a week, basically, and it will be in the Hub 21 space in Belgrade. Basically tomorrow, Jan William Burger will make a lecture from Turin, from the Hub in Turin. And of course, we look forward to have lecture from the beautiful AmityAge Academy in Honduras. So the idea is to create this network, which is not a web, is not just e-learning, because we notice that e-learning has a lower, inferior energy. The teacher in his desk in front of a camera is very practical, very flexible, but not very high energy. The teacher physically present in front of you is great, but has a lot of logistical costs for students all around the world. So we tried this hybrid solution, which is very, very interesting for us. So you can see how for example, the list of the teacher, well, you can go, there was Jack Mallers in, we are basically, go up on the list of the teacher. We had Pierre Rochard talking 3 hours and out from El Salvador, Cubo Plus node. We had Obi talking, well, not as much as Pierre, but a lot as well, in 2 hours and more in Bangkok. We had Oleg in Lugano, Katie and Derek Poole in San Salvador, Knut in Lugano, Alan Farrington in Lugano, Jack Mallers in San Salvador, Elizabeth Stark in Lugano, Jan Pritzker in San Salvador, Paolo Arduino in Lugano, John William in Turin, Eric Six will be in San Salvador. We have to ship him back because he's here now. We have to ship him back to San Salvador. And the Rockstar Day will be in Belgrade, and Steven and Yorick was in San Salvador, and Preston will be in Lugano. So you see there is already, basically the students are coming from, I think, more than 8 countries. The nodes involved in this experiment are in 5 different countries. And the next Plan B Tech School will be even more hardcore in this sense. Of course, it's a challenging organization. I'm probably ready to retire after this July. But I mean, other people will take over, and it has been fun. And I think it's a new model that works very well. The idea, again, is not to do everything ourselves, but is to integrate in an orderly way what we do with these schools. This B school and the tech school are mostly oriented to, let's say, hiring or investing. These are schools for people that want to work for Bitcoin companies, and these courses are releasing a diploma that will most likely will be used in order to decide to hire people or to invest in startups. So that's also our goal. We want our partner companies like Fulgur Venture, Tether, Bitfinex, the companies of the Fulgur Venture portfolio like Breeze. We want these companies to use these courses and these diplomas as a criteria to actually hire people or invest on people. So that would be our success rate, that's our success matrix. If you have any kind of question, follow PlanB_network on Twitter, so you can stay up to date with the news. Go on planb.network. You can propose your place as a node, you can propose your course as a teacher, or you can just join other nodes and other courses. So, federative approach. Any kind of question, more than happy to answer. There is one. You can use that.
Yeah, I have a question that how about the Spanish content? Like I want to listen to the Spanish presentation from the conferences around the world. I don't know that.
So,
Ready?
yeah, so far you go in Spanish, you will find a lot of Spanish text that has been translated mostly with AI and then corrected and reviewed by human Spanish-speaking people. But Rogzy is working a lot on AI tool to have it. He has it already.
All the content is always translated in every languages, and so you can create a content which is original, like in German, like in Dutch, for example, and then from Dutch will go to English, verify, and from English to every language. Same for French. English is always like the best AI translatable language. Then basically all the text in the platform is translated. Everything is in Markdown through GitHub, and it's basically one language by Markdown by courses. Once we translate as batch with our own system, we have verificator, people that verify the translation, and we pay by the sats. And then we also do it for the video. So there is no sound, but basically every video is then also AI translated. We modify all of the slides. We get the segment of audio by slide. We get the transcript, translate the transcript, resynthesize the voice with AI. So we always have the same length of speech to slide translated. And this way we can basically like recreate every concept in any language with human verification in the translation process. And the AI is just reading out loud with the accents.
Lovely. And another question is also podcast or just videos?
So the courses are either full video of this presentation on the podcast side, because we have some courses where it's me talking with an expert, and translating that to AI is really hard because it looks ugly on AGen and we're just not ready yet to have mouse modification. So instead, I get audio and I transform it as a podcast type of content. So we have the text, the image, but the video becomes kind of a podcast, so it's easier for mass translation. If you're looking for a podcast though, if you're looking for the podcast, what I think is a pretty good feature, but no one really agree with me, is that in the resource area, we have all the, well, I guess for Spain, that's only one, but based by languages, you can find all the podcasts of your language. So if you have like your own language, you can just add the podcast. So that's an English podcast. But if you want like a French or Dutch podcast, you can basically find all the French podcasts. So we also have like the database, which is adaptable by language. And so it will be the same for the accounting classes, the regulatory classes, or stuff like that. So every language that is big enough can be adapted locally.
Lovely.
When Rogzy talks about AI for translation, maybe not everybody is on the same page on how effective it is. So I invite you to check out some videos. It's impressive. The tool now can actually resync the lips in order to have the same kind of attitude from the teacher, the same accent. For some reason, Rogzy, when teaching in Italian, becomes Silvio Berlusconi. I don't know, it's crazy, but that's happened. But it's incredible. I was very skeptical at the beginning because, technological hypes, but it really works and it's really impressive. And the degree of confidence that you can have compared to just use my bad English right now, it's impressive. Probably we start to translate my Italian English going forward. Other questions?
Any questions?
What about the use of this material for commercial purposes? Like,
So, as Rogzy was saying, the ideological stance is about open source, but that doesn't mean that everything will be free and no profit. For example, the Plan B Business School has a very high costs. As you can imagine, coordinating that amount of teachers all around the world has huge costs. So what we do is that the course itself right now is registered and paid. Some people are receiving a scholarship and are accessing for free. For example, the Cubo Plus students access it for free because we paid all the tuition with the Plan B Foundation, which is a non-profit. But all the content will be released open source before the next iteration of the course. So everything we do in the Plan B school will be released open source. Now, why are students paying anyway? They're paying because they're not paying just for the content. They're paying for the networking with the teachers. They're paying for the certificate. So of course there is a sustainable business model. So we want also to integrate business-oriented courses that are for profit and profitable. We think that profit is not a bad thing, it's a sign of sustainability of a business. So everything is open source in the end, but also everything supports profitable and expensive courses as well. Do you want to add that?
That is it. No, the idea is to, like as you, the main maintainer, saying, it's open source one day. It's open source everything one day. So we're gonna have like a 1 year rollover, like you mentioned. And once we basically make the money back, or at least some people paid for everyone or did the sponsoring, we open source it. So for example, I mentioned we have 16 courses. I want to create more than 85 courses in the next 2 years. So I'm looking for lots of educators. The model is either you want to sell your course, and so you use the platform as the infrastructure. You can provide maybe a grant for help to you to create the course, and then it's free for everyone. Because the sponsor basically covered the cost to make it accessible for all. So there will be a different type of courses, paid because you want to do it without any sponsors, and so you make it pay, or we help, or we even produce. So we will bring talent to Lugano, to El Salvador, to other places of the world. And then from there, we will tell, okay, this is going to be a bootcamp on Stratum V2. And we're going to go as depth as we can in Stratum V2 as a development level. So we will bring the talent, produce the courses. And I know it's the course selector. So the idea is always the same. Like I said, we have 85 courses we want to create based in categories. So protocol level, we have courses on SDK and RGB. But for example, mining right now, we only have one courses on mining, which is basically modifying an S9 into a heater. So it's mining type. But the courses I want to produce is how to become a mining operator, like how to be the director of a mining firm. That's like a specific process that is needed for Bitcoin education advanced and needs to be more mature. So it's also the case of this rate. And that's why sometimes we will bring the teachers, sometimes you will be alone in a room, and sometimes we will just buy courses.
Two other notices on open source. First, when Rogzy said that everything will be open source eventually, it doesn't mean that before that moment is copyrighted or patented. It's just industrial secret. But that means that if you can get your hands on the content, we will not see you anyway. We're just trying to keep it for the paying students for a year or something. Second is, not only the content is open source, but the platform. That means that you don't like the way we run things, you can fork the entire Plan B network infrastructure, not just the content. You go on GitHub, you fork the platform, and you try with your own. You will not be as good, but I mean, you can try.
So on GitHub, there's basically two info. It's going to change. We have to. Sovereignty data is where all the data is, and that's like all the NMS. So we are building an NMS from scratch. Why we did that is because we will need a testnet integrated within the NMS for the developer courses. We will need a faucet students to get free money. We will maybe need to connect with flash tags or kits. We need to be anti-terrible. We need a one-button download of all the database to be shared via torrent in case we have an attack. So basically, all the different NMS we tried in the past wouldn't scale internationally with the language amount we want, and it wouldn't scale as a censorship resistant educational tool. So it's all the fun. Please come help. And
Fucking awesome.
and also, if you're not really familiar with GitHub and you still want to contribute, we've basically created tutorials on contribution about everything we do. So we also monitor all the version. We put the signature PGP key on every modification we do through AI because we can basically change the past. We've realized now that through the tools we are using, I can really easily modify the voice of every teacher and tell them and make them say something they never said. So we're also like signing and timestamping the content to try to have like a more transparent and ethical way of doing batch AI educational content. And if you want to contribute, we've set up the contribution tutorials on how to add a tutorial, how to become a teacher, how to add a new language. And so we go through, we explain you the process so you can do it as a like anonymous developer or person if you want to. So obviously we're trying to do our best, but centralizing Bitcoin education is a tricky topic. So be tolerant and try to help us if we make mistakes.
Other questions? I think we are basically over our time as well. So we close. Thank you very much.
Thanks.